In this shoe last maker tutorial, I'm going to teach you the basics of designing wedges, platforms, and high heels in shoe last maker. So the first step is just the same as when you're building a last. You hit the build button, and now you pick up your last templates that you want to use, both for the toe style and the back body style. And next, you're going to also have to choose the bottom template. So here's the browse for your bottom template, which is available. They're all available on shoelastmaker.com. Choose a bottom, choose a platform for this example. Either we could be pulling the heel height from the specified last templates, or we could turn off adapt and specify the heel height we want, which we'll do in this case. Choose a color, the color coding for in shoe last maker, the red for women's, and after all that is set, you hit the build button. Now it's having to draw on templates for the last body, a toe, and the bottom, so it takes a second to get all of those and build them. And there you can see that's the component built with that last with that heel height. Also, I've already turned on a couple options here that definitely makes sense when working with bottoms. First is to build the bottom body. If you're just trying to quickly design the curves, you don't necessarily have to have that on, but if you want to see what you're actually building, you want to have that setting turned on. I also like to turn on last transparency so that you're able to see the component better, so you know, because that's what you're focusing on. So that's the component there, and just like when you're working with designing a shoe lasts, you can edit the parameters, and then once you're satisfied with the new design, you save the parameter, save it as a template, and then you can reuse it in the future. So just like with editing the shoe last parameters, you can hit the edit button, pick the curve that you want to edit. This profile curve, you can kind of see it at the bottom or along the top, and then either right click or press enter. So I'll right click here. So there's quite a bit of parameters, and they start to get a little jumbled down in that corner. So what you might consider doing is turning off some of the parameters, some types of parameter dimensions at a time. So if you go to options, let's turn off control point spacing and angle for now. And then we can go back and edit the curve again. Now it's a much simpler view here. So these are linear dimensions, and these are some annotation dimensions. The droop is essentially how concave it gets across the top of the component, making space for the if you have any heel coverings or component covering materials that wrap around the top, it gets you some space to put to bury them essentially underneath the shoe last and get a nice crisp joint along the edge. And the extra space under the platform for the ball is essentially this depth here, and for the toe it's this depth here. So let's just increase that to see what that looks like. When we adjust that, hit the update button, and you can see that's that base depth getting you that rocker there. And we can change this to up to 20, and then you can see that's the effect of that. This is all offset from the last geometry too. So by changing the last geometry, you change essentially all the bottom component geometry as well. And so all these parameters are editable, and if we turn on control point spacing and angular dimensions again, we'd be able to adjust those too. So just increasing the length of the bottom here, and you can see that's just changing. And once you're satisfied with all these edits, you hit the end edit, and you can see the effect of your changes. And now you can also edit this kind of the cross-section curves here. So we'll edit that cross-section through the heel. We should turn on more dimensions in this instance because there's not a whole lot there. So we'll turn on angular, control point spacing, and we'll go back and edit that curve. And you can see we got the angles at the top we could adjust, the angles at the bottom we can adjust, and the control point spacing, so you can get pretty much any shape you desire there. And that same parameterization is available midway through so that you can adjust that. And you can also adjust the bottom edge curve, so you can control the bottom shape here. And these looks a little pointed here, so we can increase these up to 60%, these control point parameterization here, and hit the update, and you can see those adjust. And you also, this number here, this is an angular dimension. It's just not shown as that, but it's essentially the kind of the draft as the platform moves from the last plane down to the lowest point. And so that's a 10-degree angle that you get there. You can change that. Once you're satisfied with your adjustments, you hit end edit and you can see the update. So the platform is the most complex of the three, with the high heel, the wedge, and the platform. So that's why I'm demoing with the providing the tutorial here with the platform. Now you can also adjust the type of parameterization that's being done with any one of these three. In the adjust menu here, you adjust bottom component parameterization. There's going to be a bunch of settings available here in future builds, but right now it's just the parameterization of the back bottom edge. Now it's 0 for round or 1 for square. So let's try 1, and now we'll rebuild so that we can see what it looks like when it's square. So now we can get a square shape back here, and if we go back to editing this bottom curve, it's now maybe we'll turn off a couple dimensions instance, or I guess it's not too complicated for now. This is a radius dimension here, 0.3, which is pointing that corner, and we can change that up to, instead of 0.3 millimeters, we'll change that up to, let's go all the way up to 2 millimeters. You hit the update, and you can see that radius, that fillet there, has increased. And these dimensions control the position of that corner with respect to the corner as if it hadn't been filleted here. And these are controlling the length of that section of the bottom component. So when you're satisfied, hit end edit, and you can see we've got a larger fillet happening in that corner there. So that's pretty much it for the basics of working with wedges, platforms, and heels and bottom components in ShoeLastMaker. If you found this tutorial helpful, please subscribe to the channel, and let me know any questions you have about how this works. I'm always interested to know how people are using it, and thanks for watching.